I think the modern notion of friends or just friends in general is generally really wrong. How we understand, friendships and how we understand that we should have a large number of friends. You hear this a lot, right? I don't have that many friends, and people are talking about how bad they feel. Generally, they're sort of conceptualizing that it's a bad thing, right, to not have that many friends. And I really don't think that this is healthy for a lot of stuff, mental health and all that kind of stuff. But I also think it is just, a poor conceptualization of reality. And I think that the part of it is the sort of notion that you need to have a large number of friends or have, good friends. And it is just virtually not true in most settings and most parts of your life and in most people's lives. Most people do not have that many friends. What we have are people that come and go outside, within our life. We don't accumulate friends. We don't have these sort of very strong bonds. In fact, the sort of network literature, even sort of, I'm not necessarily. There's a literature in management and sociology that started off with Mark Grenovetter a long time ago, and it's a sort of notion that we have strong ties and weak ties with other people, and the conceptualization that there's this dichotomy that we have these very strong ties, which would be somebody that you know very closely, and there's you might have very large amounts of whether it's wealth transfer, money transferred, or information that's transferred between these people. You might have sort of bonds, an affect, positive affect between these people, which goes back to Heider. Um, which is in the 1950s. So we're talking about that. But, thinking of, the notion of friends, I think is just patently wrong. And the notion of sort of strong ties even is patently wrong. And what we have is, instead of this sort of conceptualization of this dichotomy of you have friends, you don't have friends, you're my friend, you're not my friend, is wrong. And in virtually what ends up happening in most of our lives is that people come and go at various different stages of our life and at various different moments of what we're doing throughout the day, where you might go into work, for example, and bump into a few people at work, and you might consider those your friends, or you might consider those your acquaintances or colleagues, and you chat with them for a little bit, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you go back and you do your work. And then you might find another set of people that you bump into and you chat with them for 4 or 5 minutes. And you might consider those your friends or your colleagues or coworkers, whatever you want to consider them. It's just a label. And then you go back and you do your own sort of work. And then, at nighttime, when we sort of, conceptualize when friends happen, friendships happen generally outside of work. Um, most of those relationships is every couple of weeks. If you're fortunate, maybe it's every week. Maybe it's your badminton friends where you go and play badminton for an hour. Um, or, every couple of weeks you might go out for just see a couple of people and hang out with them for an hour or two. But it's really such a small part of your life. And even then, if you go with a group of friends, maybe you're with, a group of 5, 6 friends, you might not feel necessarily close to all of them. You feel close to one or two. But even then, those people that you feel close to, you might not talk to them every day. You might talk to them every couple of weeks. It is really this conceptualization of friendship or, strong ties. It's not great. And I think it's doing us all a disservice, because we think, life is either having these very strong ties, where we have, these strong friends that we just rely on about everything, and or it's accumulating friends. We have a large amount of popularity, but even the people that are really popular, even the people that you might know about, like Kim Kardashian, for example, um, in their own time when they're just kind of hanging out just at home, they don't have a lot of friends. They're just hanging out. They're just living their life, but people talk about them. People know about them. They're just living their life. And I think that's what you need to do, is to, instead of imagining where you don't have friends and you're upset about not having friends, or you don't have strong friends, realize it's really people coming and going out of your life. And this is true for everybody. It's such a poor conceptualization of what friendship means. And I almost want to ban that word, friends and friendship, because it is taken in such a poor direction, where we think that we need to have a large number of friends and all that kind of stuff, or these strong friends. But really, we just need to be happy with coming and going as we please, and bumping into people. And when you bump into them, smiling and having a good conversation, and then going back and being happy with yourself. Um, the only friend that I think you really should worry about and having a friend with is your own mind, and that person that's in your mind, and having a real strong bond where you're happy as you'll get out, as my grandma used to say, you're happy as a pig in shit. And if you get to that moment where you're happy in your own mind, you're happy with that person that's in your mind, which is dang hard to do. I think most of us struggle. We have these internal struggles inside. Almost all of us do. It would be weird if you didn't. Let's just say that. But even if you don't, hey, that's awesome. That's great that you don't. I'm happy for you. But, you know, just realize that that's about the only friend you need to worry about, and really consider, and build a strong relationship with, is that person that's in your head. And once you get a strong partner relationship, whatever that partner relationship looks like, that you rely heavily on that partner relationship. I'm not talking about work partners. I'm talking about your spouse or your significant other, that you really try to build some ties. But even that, you're never going to feel perfectly 100% close to them either. There's always something that's in your mind. I'm not saying, I have a great relationship with my spouse, but always remember that you're always a unique person. And there's always differences, right? So be a good friend to yourself, is what I'm saying. And focus on helping yourself out, and don't worry about accumulating friends. Don't worry about building strong friends. That happens naturally as you live your life and as you go do things throughout your life. Now, you could put yourself in different situations where you can have quote unquote more friends, but really that's just more people you're bumping into, um, and people that recognize you. Like that's the crazy thing. It's more of thinking about that. You know, People that bump into you and sort of popularity, that's bullshit, at the end of the day, because what matters is that you're happy in your own mind. You're happy with the one friend that you should worry about, and that's that person that's in your mind. So work on that. Um, Smile on that person that's in your mind. Tell them that you're a good person. Um, Let them know that they should be proud of who they are. Let them know that they're a really strong person. Um, let them know that they're a good person. And if you work on that repeatedly, it ain't going to happen overnight, um, but the rest of it take cares of itself. And just be good to them. That's all I wanted to say. All right, have a good day. And if you like this one, leave me a couple of comments. All right, take care. Bye.